tabloid 11 by 17 or 18 by 24 or 24 by 36, which is C. 24 by 36 is D paper, 18 by 24 is C, or E, which is 30 by 42. Okay, so 11 by 17 is B. Okay, they call it tabloid. You'll see that on the plotter. Okay, so basically what I do is I just highlight the viewport and delete it. I don't need that. And then I go to the Layout 1 tab, right-click over it, and then I modify Page Setup Manager. All right, I'm gonna make it so that I could bring my title block and adjust it to the paper that I'm gonna print. Okay, in this case, I go Modify, and then I look into a DWG. So we're converting DWG to PDF PC3 in here. Make sure you have this on monochrome. Okay, and then make sure you pick up the paper that you want to print. In this case, NCB, paper B, 17 by 11. I like instead of 11 by 17 because, like everything, in a horizontal format, the computer reads it as the best way to read it is the width by the height. Same in architecture. When you put the room, is the width of the room by the depth of the room. Or when you do a section of the beam, it's going to be the width of the beam by the depth of the beam. Okay? So in this case, I do it this way and it'll always work fine. Okay, NCB 17 by 11 inches. And you can see it's already set up here, 17 by 11. You click OK, and the white background changes. Okay, you can take this little guy here, up here. Okay, close. Take this guy here. Sometimes it disappears. Okay, that was a ghost. All right, so it's all set up for that. Now, I personally, basically on your AutoCAD, you're the designer. You can do anything you want. I personally don't like the white background because it makes my eyes burn. Okay. Basically what I do is I pull down this menu. Remember at the beginning of the class, I show menu of the bar. It's easier for me to pick that up from here. I go to Tools, I go to Options, and then I look into the tab. And as a matter of fact, if you're gonna save any drawing, okay, see this tab that says Open and Save. You want to make sure that you save it, you set it up to 2007, LT 2007 DWG. Okay, that means that when you close the file, it's going to be saved to an older version, so you could open the same file to any other places that they have a later version. Otherwise, if you do it the other way around, you won't be able to open your file. Okay, so, and then I go to Drafting tab, Colors, and then over here, you see this this TV over here, screen, monitor screen. It's a mini one. Okay, you can see the white background with some objects. Okay, that's telling you that's what you got. So here on the uniform background, and then over here on the color, I would change it to black. Some of the people, what they do, they like to select. If you go to index color, like a dark gray, and you're still gonna get a nice background, darker. But I like the black. Actually, black and white is not a color; it's a tone of value. Okay, I can apply and close, apply, okay, and it's all there. I'm doing it black so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now your job when you work in an office, your task, they might say, well, open up a file, and this is the title block that I got that we have for the company. You're gonna have to bring it. This is what we have. Bring it over to. Let's do a test on you. Bring it over to Paper Space for Model Space. Okay, because of Model Space, that's where you design your title block. Okay, here's your logo. Make sure you have your logo in the same USB or your pen drive or any device that you have. So to bring the title block to the other side. Remember, Paper Space is another space that you print. You plot everything in there to any scale that you want. Okay, so clipboard, copy with base point. This is gonna be my base point, and then I'm gonna highlight the entire block, right click enter, then I go to my layer 1 tab, and then I zoom out a little bit, because I know my title block is gonna be big, or I zoom in because I wanna put it right in this corner here. So I go right click, clipboard, paste, and there you go. See the corner of the title block, I wanted to put it right in there. And then you zoom out, and you'll see it, okay? But there's something here that somehow the letters is not coming, they're not coming out. Let's see. Okay. Why it's not coming out? Okay, if I go back to layer 1. Oh, they're there. Okay.
You're having ghost issues.
Yeah, you know, remember AutoCAD, computers, they get temperamental, you know, sometimes. So you have to have patience. Oh, you want to make sure that, see, it wasn't light up. This little show annotation object, the section of the scale, you gotta always light it up. Okay, otherwise your annotation things, you know, your letters, your dimensions, your numbers are gonna disappear. Okay, so now this is the trick. Okay, then type in scale. That's a command, scale. You wanna shrink it down, right? Scale.
Ooh.
See? Takes a while to think. Enter. So I'm going to highlight it, right click enter, specify the base point. This is my base point. And once I have the base point, then see at the bottom it's asking you either copy or reference. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type in REF, stands for reference, enter, and then I'm gonna go from point A through point B, and then shrink it down to here. There. Okay? And there's my title block. Okay? Now, we're still on paper space. Okay? So the idea is, and remember your tab, you could have your tab renamed. Right click, rename. Okay, I'm gonna type in, for example, floor plan. Okay, so that's my tab for the floor plan. And now that I have this title block here, I could do multiples of tabs. I could go right click, move or copy to make a copy with the same title block. Create a copy, put a check mark there, press OK, and that floor plan number 2 tab is there. So now I'm going to do is rename the tab, and I'm going to rename it elevations. So I'm going to put all the 4 elevations in here. Okay, I'll show you the purpose of these. Okay, so floor plan. Okay, now we're in paper space. To bring the floor plan on a specific scale, what you need to do is open up a window, a portal. Okay, have you ever seen science fiction or real stuff? You know, now they're saying that, you know, this UFOs are coming from a portal from another dimension. The portal opens up in space, and there goes the ship, right? Okay, or our God is a creator. He sees everyone through a portal with the eyes. Whoever is not behaving good goes for one place, and whoever is behaving good goes to another place, right? So AutoCAD is the same thing. You're going to open up a portal, and that portal is called viewport. That's the way I put it, okay? It's like teaching children. You're reading up a book. You're telling the children a whole story. And I think that's the best way to approach it, okay? So you open up a viewport is a portal on paper space to zoom in and out and put to scale any drawing that you want on this particular sheet that you're going to print, okay? Very simple. Okay, so I'm gonna type in viewport because I don't have my tools. You remember, I work with my icons. You know, I like my icons. I don't like to type. So everyone has its own way of setting up your AutoCAD. Like for example, when I set up my AutoCAD at my office or at home, you know, I got my ribbon, I got all my toolbars ready to go. They're all locked, you know. I'm ready to start work. Okay, so I'm gonna type in viewport. Enter. This particular window comes out. You just press ignore it. Just press OK. No big deal. And then when you press OK, you open up a window here. And then when you open a window, all the drawings on model space, they show up. But you cannot get them until you activate the viewport. You have to activate to go into Earth, right? You're on the ship. You're going to open up a portal and grab. You're going to steal. You're going to have, remember in these YouTube movies, you're going to adopt people. You're going to bring them down to the ship, right? That's what you're doing. Or adopt a cow, whatever. Okay? Science fiction, whatever. Okay? So we don't know if it's true or not, you know, but I have to put it in a way so that you understand. A very simplistic way. There's nothing to it. That's the beauty of AutoCAD. Okay, so to activate the portal, which is a viewport, remember this viewport, this has a window here. If I highlight the window, I need to put it on a viewport layer so that it won't print. Because if I have a floor plan here with this rectangle, it's going to look ugly. It's not going to look nice. So you want to hide this rectangle. So there's two ways of doing it. Either you put it on depth points, or you could do another layer that it's called viewport, and then click the area where it says do not print. So I don't think I did create one that...
Yeah, there's one viewport.
Oh boy.
It's purple, like magenta.
Yeah,
Up,
go
up,
go
up.
up there.
Okay, so I let it go, escape, and it stays there. Now magenta, it's not gonna print. I just want to make sure if you go to Layer Property Manager and you open up this window, you want to make sure that that printer is clicked. No printing. Right there. See the little print with the circle and the slash in red? Okay, so that's not gonna print. Or I could use depth points. It's not gonna print either. Okay. Depth point is a layer that AutoCAD will give you automatically without no printing. Okay. So now to activate the portal, I like that sound. Activate the portal. We're coming in to get you, right? So right over here, you have two options. Either you click this button here and click on paper, and it becomes model, and you can see that line lights up and thicker. That means you could now zoom in and out all your drawings, or click it back to set it up to the scale that you want. Or you could activate it, left click 2 times inside to open it, or left click 2 times outside to deactivate it. So you activate it, deactivate it, activate it, deactivate it. You could either do it here too. Okay, so let's activate it. Okay, now this tab here, you could set up the scale that you want. Okay, I want my floor plan maybe 3/16. All right. So what I basically do, just to make it easier, so they don't disappear, I zoom in and I try to put the floor plan close and play with the scales. Okay, at 1/4 of an inch, at 1/8, what's the size there? At 3/16, there, like that. Still too small. At 1/4, there. Perfect. 1/4. And then on model space, make sure you change the scale. That's one thing that you have to coordinate, every drawing. So, it's all there. So, I want to deactivate this outside 2 times, that's it. Now, if I wanted to see the way it looks printing, go to plot, continue to plug single sheet, and you could create a PDF if you like monochrome. Make sure you have, if you have object line weights, you make sure you click in here. Change this to window, and let's do a window the way I told you, so that you can have the 1/2 inch space in between the edge of the paper and the border. And you see, did you notice this is happening? Because you didn't put the check marks on the both of the boxes. Center plot and fit to paper. Get back to exit, go back to the other window, center the plot, fit to paper. When you do that, you go preview. But you see now you have more space because you didn't do the window. So you go back, exit, and do your window. Now, when that happens, you have to click Windows 2 times. Bing, bing. That's another glitch from AutoCAD. Instead of 1 time, 2 times. Sometimes it does. Preview. Wow. Why is that? Because I choose the wrong paper. It has to be NCB expand. This one, expand B. NC expand B. Preview. Now I could exit and do a window. Play with the window. See? I have to do it 2 times. You want this 1/2 inch so badly so that it looks nice. Still, it's you're still struggling. Okay, so let's try. Let me see. If I put it over here closer, then what's gonna happen? The window area, the drawing area. Oh, gonna go the other way around. Preview. That's better. I like it like that. Okay, you can see the line weights. Actually, there's no difference on mine. I put everything the same line weight. Well, the only difference is the text, but you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to use your own line weights. You're the designer. You could create your own stuff. Okay, and you could see how nice this is now. Okay? So, you see it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's good. You learn this, you feel good. Okay, let's do another thing. Here. Let's look at elevations tab. Come back here. I'm going to do a viewport, so I'm going to type in I'm going to use several viewports. I'm going to do one here. I'm going to do another one here. And I'm going to do another one.
I see that a lot on the plans at work. I see that a lot.
Thank you. Because everything that I talk, you're confirming, that's what we do in a real office.
A lot.
Okay, you got 3 viewports. First of all, I'm gonna change all these to my layer so I don't see the rectangle. On the other one, you didn't see the rectangle. See, it disappeared. So, look for it. Viewport, click it, escape, it's all set up. It's not gonna show. These rectangles are not gonna show. That's just for you to see. Where are your portals? Okay. So, boy, 3 ships opening 3 portals. That's scary. Okay. Alright, so what I wanted to do is put the front elevation on the bottom and then the 2 sides on the top. Okay, right side on the right, left side on the left. Okay, so let's do it. Find this one, put it at 1/4. And there it is. Now you could close the portal, deactivate it, and then you could adjust the portal to only show what you need to show. There. also, you could move your viewport. You could move the viewport to find more space. Okay, now over here, I'm gonna have my left elevation, and I'm gonna show the left elevation at 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to deactivate the portal, move the viewport line, and omit anything that I don't need. Okay, and actually I could move this viewport any place I want. I'm gonna activate this one, bring in my right. Actually, with the pamming, with the little hand, you push the wheel down. That's, you could control that like that, and there you go. That's 1/8 of an inch, and then you deactivate the viewport there. And then, does it fit? Yeah, it fits perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna move this one. I'm going to put this detail there. Okay? And then a model space, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this 1/8 of an inch. Otherwise, you're not being consistent. And also, you gotta be careful too, because then your text over here, they're half 50% smaller than the text at 1/4 of an inch. So what do? If you need to do this smaller detail, then on model space, what you do is that you put this text twice as much bigger, so that it was compatible to this one at 1/4 of an inch. See what I'm saying? Because all the text must be the same. All the text that pertains to specifications, there must be the same text style and also the same text height to be consistent. They're gonna ask you that. Okay, otherwise you could get in big trouble. You need consistency in your drawings. Okay. So I'm gonna move this around this over here.
Professor, in my case, I've created a separate file for every sheet. How do I do that? I don't have them all on one sheet like you just had them.
You mean every drawing has
A separate file.
Okay, that's good. That's a good practice. Because by doing that, you're not overloading the file. Okay? Also, when you bring in drawings from another drawing to another drawing, you're bringing in layers that you don't use from other files. And then those layers are extra, so that overloads in memory the file. So in order to get rid of those layers that you don't use, then there is a command that says that's called purge. Purge the layers. Okay, but I don't want to do it here because I don't want to save anything over here. Okay, purge, enter. Okay, and you want to view all items you could purge. Okay, blocks and all this stuff. Okay, by purging, what you're doing is you're cleaning up the file. Purge all the layers. It's going to say all, yes to all. Then you keep pressing yes to all, yes to all, yes to all, and it's going to come like, okay, it's all clean. All right.
Back to my question.
Huh?
I have each one in an individual file.
Which is good. Just keep it that way.
So, right. So that means I now have to create one of these paper spaces for each one of those files.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
But the reason why I'm putting everything in here, because this little project doesn't take that much memory. So you could even do it yourself, okay? You could have all the drawings in one file, in one particular file. You could say final project, duplex, this and that for ARC 2171. Okay, and you can have all these tabs, and it's so easy because with the tabs, you could create the PDF, and then you open another file that says PDF today's date, and you put all the PDF in there. All you have to do is click, print, print. Okay, also on PDF, there is a PDF program, Acrobat Reader. There is a program that you could put all these drawings. You could put it in a book. You could combine them. It's called a combined booklet. And I know there
It's
is
a binder.
website.
It's a combined binder.
Combined binder. Thank you. I know you worked on that.
Sorry.
Okay, and I know there is a website. You don't have to buy a $300 Acrobat Reader. There is a website that is free. It's a freebie, and it will combine everything for you. Okay? I have done it in the other office that I work. Okay, now there's another space that I like to put in. Okay, let me see. The top half of the typical wall section. Okay, so I want to put in a viewport. I want to open a viewport, a portal. Boy, what a name, portal. Okay, there. Activate it. Find the typical wall section. Now, does it fit the top half at 3/4? Let me see. Now you could test it. You could find it here at 3/4. Okay, let's give it a try. Well, you could adjust stuff, It's all to scale already. So let's see. Let's see if we could squeeze this guy. All right, in there. So deactivate it. Okay, change this viewport to. Okay, to the correct layer. I wouldn't recommend that match property from here to there because then you're gonna mess it up. Because here you got one drawing and one scale, and this is another scale. Okay, because otherwise this scale becomes the same as this one. If you match property, don't do that. Okay, it's a no-no. Okay, you know no-no in Italiano? You know grandfather? No-no? Okay, well, it's a no-no. Remember that. Okay, so now, look, I'm gonna overlap the viewports. And you're not gonna be able to see anything. And then I'm going to move it over the border. And I'm even gonna bring it down here a little bit. Just make sure I got all my text. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, my text here is overlapping, so that's why I go back to model and I make it the paragraph halfway and I take this off, I make some adjustments. Okay, so I want to show as much as up to here. Okay, so with your viewport you could hide your drawings, show whatever you need to show. Okay. So this is at 3/4, check it out. 2 drawings at 1/8. 1 drawing at 1/4, this one at 3/4. Okay? So let's do a test. All you have to do is previous plot. You don't have to set up anything anymore. Okay? Save you time. Preview. There. See that? You got these 2 drawings, 1 at 1/8. That's why you need to change this at 1/8 on model space, so that your scales, they go accordingly. You have to coordinate all that. This one's at 1/4, and then over here, you could even put a title on paper space on the top. A lot of architects will do that. I do that all the time. Okay? So you see the purpose of this is the purpose of the paper space. Okay. Now, let's do another issue. Go back to here. Oh boy, let's talk about X-reference files. An X-reference file is a file that you bring from another space, another file, and then you bring it to your drawing, to your new file, as a photograph. Why? So you could work as a base plan. For example, this is on CAD template ponds, which is me. I'm going to let me see, how do I do this? Outside, click, delete. Okay, I got my clean sheet here. Model space, I want to bring in a plan from another. Let me go back to my file here, and I'm going to make a copy. And then I'm going to shut off freeze all the layers that I don't want. Layout, right? Layout freeze. Lay FRZ. Enter. And then I'm going to freeze this. Text, lines, circles. See the mistake that I made? The tags is the same as the structure. So when you go back, you put everything back. So layout freeze. So that's why the layers are important. You need to have your tags, different layers, tags, symbols, layout freeze. Okay. This, I don't know why that one is hanging there like that. Take out this and this. Okay, that's clean enough. Alright, enter. Alright, now when I go back to my other drawing, my template, I want to bring in that drawing as an X reference. That means that drawing is going to be like a block. It's going to be like a block, like a photograph. It's going to be a block. The reason why we do it, we call those drawings bases, the base plan. In the base plan, we don't put lighting, we don't put dimensions, we don't put text. We just put the plan. Okay. So if you type in XR, X reference. Okay. All right. You could bring in by pulling down this menu, pull down menu here, attach DWG, look it up, where is this is library, let's see. Drawing plates. Yeah. No drawing plates. I mistake. Touch DWG. Final project duplex. And then close this window here. Okay, I want to bring in, let's say if I have the floor plan on this drawing like this. I close this one in. See, I'm bringing in everything. Let's say, think about that, I'm only bringing the floor plan. Okay? And that floor plan is my reference file. Okay, so when I bring my reference file, let's say I wouldn't have all these dimensions, just a floor plan by itself. And the reason why we do it, it's because you could put the dimensions on top of it, you could put in the lighting, you could put in furniture, and you could create multiples of these plans. Okay, The reason why we do X reference is because on the base plan, I modify any of the plan. Let's say I take out the window, I put it on the other side, I change the door and all that. And then it would change, after I change all that base plan, all the plans, the electrical, the furniture, every plan would change to the updated on my base plan. When I close and save my base plan, the rest of the drawings, they're changed. You don't have to change it. You don't have to do any drafting. You have to only modify the lights. Anything that